Om Shanti. This is the Sakar Murli of 2nd of August 2022. Essence. Sweet children, continue to churn knowledge and you will never become confused about anything. Always maintain the intoxication that incorporeal God Himself is the one who is teaching you. Question. Which children can experience the imperishable intoxication of the jewels of knowledge? Answer. Those who are poor children. Only poor children become multimillionaires through the Father. They can be threaded in the rosary. Wealthy people have the intoxication of their perishable wealth. At this time, Baba doesn't need multimillionaire children. Heaven is established with every penny of the poor children, because it is the poor who have to become wealthy. Song. Take us away from this world of sin to a place of rest and comfort. Om Shanti. You sweetest children of Bap Dada know that we are going to such a place where there is no name or trace of sorrow, which is called the land of happiness. We were the masters of that land of happiness of heaven. In the land of happiness, there was the golden age where the deities used to rule. You have now become Brahmins and are the mouth-born creation of Brahma. You even write, Sib Baba, care of Brahma Kumaris. You also now know that this is truly your stage of ascent. You children now understand very clearly the stages of ascent and descent. You also understand that when Bharat was in the stage of ascent, the people there were called deities. It is now the stage of descent, and this is why they cannot be called deities. They now consider themselves to be human beings. They go to the temples and bow their heads in front of the deity idols. They believe that they truly did exist in the past. When? This they don't know. You can explain to anyone that 3000 years before Christ, Bharat was heaven. You children have now understood that the cycle definitely does have to turn. The impure world has to become pure. It is now in the intellects of you children that you are being changed from human beings into deities by the Father. You should have the intoxication that the Father is teaching you. It is also remembered, God speaks, I teach you Raj Yoga. They have simply made a mistake in that they have inserted the name of the child in place of the fathers. Only you children understand this mistake. No one else understands this. It has entered the intellects of you children that you are once again becoming pure in order to go to your land of happiness from the land of peace. People sing, O purifier, come. Only God the Father is the purifier. No one can call Krishna that your intellect should continue to churn this. At school, children continue to churn these studies they have been taught. If you continue to churn this, you will never become confused. You know that it is now your stage of ascent. Liberation in life in a second is remembered. As soon as a child is born, he receives a right to an inheritance. However, that isn't the inheritance of liberation in life. Here, you receive your fortune of the kingdom of liberation in life. You definitely have to receive it from the Father. You also know that Bharat received the unlimited inheritance from the unlimited Father. It is now to receive it once again. You are now following Srimad and claiming your inheritance. On the path of devotion, they continue to remember someone or other. The pictures of all of them are present. They are worshipped. The Father has explained this secret to you. A handful out of multi-millions will understand these things very well and also have faith, whereas others will have doubts. You first have to explain about the relationship so that no one has any doubts. It is also mentioned in the Gita that God sat and explained everything to Arjuna. It is not possible that he would sit and teach Raja Yoga in a horse chariot. He would not sit and teach Raja Yoga in that way. That is a lie. They portray Brahma emerging from the navel of Vishnu, and then they have shown Brahma with the scriptures in his hand. He cannot be in the subtle region. So the essence would be explained here. You can explain using such pictures. These pictures will also definitely be useful for the exhibitions. It is not a question of the subtle reason. Whom would he explain to through the mouth of Brahma? There are just Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar. So to whom would he explain the essence of the scriptures? You know that all of that is the paraphernalia of the path of devotion. This path of devotion cannot exist in the golden and silver ages. That is the kingdom of deities. How could there be devotion there? Devotion takes place later on. You children know that only those whose intellects have faith become victorious. If you have faith in the Father, you definitely receive the sovereignty. The Father sits here and explains, I am the one who establishes heaven. I am the one who purifies the impure. You would never say that Shiva is Syam Sundar, brackets the ugly one and the beautiful one. Only Krishna is called Syam and Sundar. Only you children understand that Shiva doesn't enter the cycle. He cannot be shown as beautiful and ugly. The Father explains, it is now the stage of ascent of you children. From being ugly, you have to become beautiful. Bharat was beautiful. Why has it now become ugly? By sitting on the pyre of lust, it is also remembered that lust burnt the children of the ocean and destroyed them. The Father is now enabling you to sit on the pyre of knowledge. You are being showered with knowledge. You also understand that this is the only place where you have the company of the truth. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who establishes heaven, is called the Lord of Immortality. So he would definitely sit here and explain to the children. Would he sit in the mountains and explain to just one Parvati? He has to make the whole of the impure world pure. It is not a question of just one. You know that you were the masters of the pure world and that you will become the masters once again. It is also explained to you in the pictures of the tree that the smaller branches emerge at the end. All of them are the small sacs and curls. Very beautiful leaves emerge first. When a tree reaches its state of decay, there are no more new leaves and it doesn't bear fruit. The Father continues to explain everything to you children very clearly. Your battle is with Maya. The status you receive is so high. Therefore, some effort surely has to be made. You have to study and also become pure. For half a cycle, it has been the kingdom of Ravan, and it is now to become the kingdom of Rama. People say that there should be the kingdom of Rama, but they don't know how or when that will be. These things are not mentioned in the scriptures. They saw that the Pandavas melted away on the mountains. Okay, so what happened then? Annihilation doesn't take place. On the one hand, they saw the Father teaching Raj Yoga. He says you will become kings of kings in the future. However, they then saw the Pandavas too being destroyed. How could that be possible? How would the new world be established? Where would Sri Krishna come from? Brahmins are definitely needed. You know that you are making effort to go to the new world. You come here to the ocean of knowledge to be refreshed. There you listen to the Ganges of knowledge. They have a lake at Amarnath called Mansarovar. They say that by bathing in that you become angels. In fact, it is the Mansarovar of knowledge. The Father, the ocean of knowledge, sits here and bathes you in knowledge, through which you become the angels of paradise. Hearing the name angels, they have seen human beings with wings. In fact, there is no question of wings, etc. The wings with which souls can fly are now broken. Look what they have written in the scriptures. This one has studied many scriptures. The Father also says to him, you don't know your own births. I come and enter you at the end of the last of your many births. Krishna is the first birth of the golden age. After their marriage, they become Lakshmi and Narayan. At the end of his many births, the one who was Sri Narayan has now become ordinary. Therefore, he definitely has to enter this body. Some ask, how can God enter the impure world? Because of not understanding this, they have inserted Sri Krishna's name. He is the purest of all. But not everyone would believe Sri Krishna to be God. God is incorporeal. His name Shiva is very well known. Prajapita Brahma, father of humanity, exists here. Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar are in the subtle region. This too has to be explained very clearly. This has to be imbibed very well. You should remind one another of this. Are you remembering Baba? Are you remembering the cycle of 84 births? We are going home. This is an old world. We now have to renounce our old costumes. We are now becoming ready for the new world. There isn't any intoxication of the old world. This is the intoxication of the imperishable jewels of knowledge. It is difficult to break that other intoxication. The intoxication of the poor can be broken. The Father says, I am the Lord of the poor. It is the poor who come here. Nowadays, only millionaires are said to be wealthy. Those who have hundreds of thousands are not called wealthy. They would not be able to take this knowledge. The Father says, I don't need millions or billions. What would I do with that? I have to establish the sovereignty with every penny of the poor. I am also a shrewd businessman. I would not just take anything unnecessarily that I would have to give a return of it. You have an exchange with him, and this is why he is called the innocent Lord. Only the poorest of the poor are threaded in the rosary. Everything depends on the efforts you make. There is no question of money in this. The poor pay good attention to their studies. There is just the one study. It is the poor who study well, because the wealthy have intoxication of their wealth. You children know that you were the masters of heaven and that you have now become poverty stricken. The Father has now come. The cycle of 84 births definitely has to turn. Rebirth will also be proved. Only you long lost and now found children go around the cycle of 84 births. Only you know this. No one else knows it. You know that this cycle is now to end and that you have to return home. You have to revise your study. If you have put pictures up, you will remember the cycle when you see it. Some songs are very good. They make you intoxicated when you hear them. You now belong to Shiv Baba. You are now receiving your inheritance from the incorporeal through the corporeal. How could the incorporeal one give it to you unless he entered a corporeal form? Therefore, he says, I enter this one at the end of his many births. Prajapita brackets Father of humanity has to exist here. The name of Brahma is also very well known. Brahma's mouth-born creation. The somersault has also been explained to you children. We are now Brahmins and we will then become deities. You can see the top knot. At the top is Shiv Baba, the star. He is so subtle. He isn't such a big lingam. They have just created that for worship. When they create a sacrificial fire, they make one large Shivlingam and many smaller saligrams. Wealthy people make many of them. All of that starts on the path of devotion with the copper rays. There are 16 degrees, then 14 degrees, and then the degrees continue to decrease until now. When no degrees remain, the Father now sits here and explains to you. The Father doesn't give you any other difficulty. Continue to note down for how long you remembered the husband of all husbands. The engagement has to be unadulterated. Forget all your friends and relatives. Have love for only the one. You have to go from this ocean of poison to the ocean of milk. Souls are sitting in the element of Brahma. They saw Vishnu in an ocean of milk. Vishnu and Brahma, he explains to you through Brahma, and you then go to the land of Vishnu, the ocean of milk. The Father now says, constantly remember me alone. He doesn't give you any other difficulty. He simply says, O souls, remember me. I sent you to play your parts. He reminds you, you came naked, bodiless. First of all, you became deities and went to heaven. Since God is the Father of all, everyone should go to heaven. However, not those of all religions can go there. Only the deities have taken 84 births. They are the ones who have to go there. No one apart from you can know these things. Only those with good intellects will imbibe this. There is very little time. Therefore, simply consider yourselves to be souls. I cede a body and take another. The 84 births are now complete. This is now the final birth. The soul will become real gold. In the golden age, the jewelry was real. It is now all false. You are now sitting on the pyre of knowledge and becoming beautiful. If you remember Him in every breath, you will have that stage at the end. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the mother, the father Bap Dada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children says Namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharana. Number 1. In order to go to the ocean of milk, have true love for the one Father. Stay in unadulterated remembrance of the One and remind everyone of the one Father. Don't have any intoxication of perishable wealth. Maintain your permanent intoxication of the wealth of knowledge. Claim a high status through this study. Blessing, may you be a Karma Yogi who experiences zeal, enthusiasm and tirelessness with the Father's help. Because Karma Yogi children have the Father's company as they act, they receive extra help. No matter how difficult some work may be, the Father's help gives you zeal, enthusiasm, courage and the power to be tireless. Any task that is done with zeal and enthusiasm will definitely be successful. The Father doesn't do any work with his own hands, but he definitely does the work of giving help. If you have the Karma Yogi stage of just you and the Father, you will never feel tired. Slogan: Mind has attraction and therefore transform mind into yours. Om Shanti.